Now you can hear Military Matters Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard and Sundays at noon on Wreaths Across America Radio, available on the iHeart Radio, TuneIn and Audacy apps. This episode is brought to you by Homes for Our Troops, a nonprofit helping build and donate homes to injured post 9/11 veterans. Visit hfotusa.org for more information. And welcome to another Fast Take. I'm Rod Rodriguez. And this is kind of an interesting Fast Take for me, actually, because we were supposed to introduce you to the next co-host of the show. The whole plan was we were going to interview Jack. That would be his last interview with us, or his farewell, if you would. And we would do the Fast Take with the new incoming co-host. Well, as the universe would have it, things don't always go your way. And unfortunately, we will not be doing another season of Military Matters. Funding issues, folks. It's funding issues. Let's just face it, everyone is kind of bootstrapping now. All of a sudden, the belt's getting a little tighter, especially around the federal government. We're facing a potential... what was it? The last year, the same thing. It was not a lockdown. I'm getting my terms confused, but it was a shutdown. So the government's facing another shutdown. What it boils down to is the unfortunate truth is we won't have another season. So regardless of which, but I always believe in hope. I am a person that believes that it's not over till it's over. So we are still on track to finish off up until the end of September. And we're not throwing in the towel quite yet. We are going to continue to produce a couple of new episodes. You might hear some episodes that we are updating. Regardless of which, we have an obligation, and we are going to fulfill that obligation. And we are not going to compromise the quality of the show one bit. And I'm very proud of everything we've done. But we're not. This Fast Take is not our swan song. This is not my goodbye. We'll wait till the end of September to see if we actually have to shutter the proverbial doors. Or shutter the proverbial windows, I should say. But nevertheless, I want to talk quickly about Jack Murphy. He did say goodbye, jumped off the ship right as it was sinking, if you will. That's all right. Jack, one of the reasons I pushed to getting Jack Murphy onto the show in the first place was because he was such an interesting person to begin with. The coverage of the military news coverage that he does has always been particularly not scathing, but I would say it's been particularly pointed. You don't want to be on the other end of the stick when it comes to dealing with investigative journalists like Jack Murphy. He said it before, and I think it's a very poignant feeling in that he's going to cover what you give him to cover. So when it comes to the government, when it comes to special operations, when it comes to the military as a whole, if you're doing something wrong, it's going to be exposed. It needs to be exposed. Nobody, no organization is above the law, and they are not above their workings being exposed. One thing that I have always appreciated is that he doesn't go after, classified information, and he doesn't try to do, expose things that are in the best interest of the United States to keep to itself. He exposes the things that do need to be exposed and brought out to light. He's talked to me about stories that, and these are stories for him to tell, but we've talked about stories that, as he was recounting them to me, and these are stories that never got published because, journalistic integrity would not allow him to publish stories that he could not prove. But these are stories, when you've got, where there's smoke, there's fire kind of situation. So when there's folks that are coming to you saying there's a problem, there's probably a problem. And some of these stories are heartbreaking. Some of these stories, you wish you could go get the evidence, get the proof, and be able to substantiate the claim. And when you can't, it is obvious in his face and the way he tells these stories that it pains him, that it haunts him to an extent. And my foray into journalism, I've found the same experience, that there are stories that have been brought to my attention. There are stories that, I have interviews, recordings that I can't release because I don't have enough evidence to support what they're saying. These are allegations. They're hearsay. Everybody deserves their day in court. Everybody should, there's always two sides to a story. I get it. So it's tough. It's something that is very easy to sling mud at folks and say, well, I don't like what you said. I don't like what you reported. But the question is, why did it happen and why are they reporting on it? It's a tough wire act to balance on. It's very tough. And I don't think anybody does it better than Jack Murphy. So this is going to be one of the few fast takes that is actually relatively fast, especially since I don't have anybody to bounce off of right now. And, the show is going to go on. We've got a couple more episodes lined up. So as we finish out August 2023, we've got a couple more weeks left. Fingers crossed. Who knows? We might get a windfall, and then Military Matters gets supercharged. Who knows? We could be on YouTube doing live, doing the whole Team House thing like Jack Murphy is. Which reminds me, if you have not checked out Jack Murphy's podcast, The Team House, go check it out on YouTube. He's becoming quite YouTube famous, and it's a really good show. Some really cool people are on there. Till then, make sure you go check out stripes.com. Stars and Stripes, the online edition. It's fantastic, folks. You really have to check out these stories. They are doing stories that are about you, service members, service member families, supporters of the military and veterans alike. My experience, though, has been some of these stories go ignored. We've done several stories about military housing, and it seems like more people are interested in Bigfoot than they are about military housing. And I get the same thing every time, like, it's never going to change, Rod. It's been like this way forever, Rod. Well, it's going to keep on being that way until we start getting angry, until people start doing things instead of hoping that somebody else does it. And there are some very amazing organizations, very amazing people that are going out there and trying to make a difference. And until we start focusing and paying attention to these articles written by journalists who are really doing their due diligence and getting in there and talking about these issues that matter to you, that should matter, it's going to keep on being business as usual. It's going to keep on being the same old. So make sure you go check out stripes.com, use promo code podcast, and you get 50% off your digital subscription. Look, when this podcast goes off the air, so is that promo code. So use it while you can. Get 50% off your digital subscription. Where else do you get 50% off anything, for crying out loud? So promo code podcast, get 50% off your digital subscription. Folks, I'm Rod Rodriguez, and we are probably at like the 9-10 minute mark. This has been a very fast take. I will see you next week with a brand new episode. Till then, I will see you later. Folks, be sure to head over to stripes.com and use promo code podcast to get 50% off your digital subscription to Stars and Stripes, the news source that has supported American service members no matter where they've been deployed to. Stars and Stripes has been there and continues to be there, so drop some characters in your address bar, stripes.com, promo code podcast and lock yourself in for 50% off your digital subscription. This episode was brought to you by Homes for Our Troops, a nonprofit helping build and donate homes to injured post-9/11 veterans. Visit hfotusa.org for more information. Now you can hear Military Matters Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard and Sundays at noon on Wreaths Across America Radio, available on the iHeart Radio, TuneIn and Audacy apps.